Hello and welcome into Pat's Latest. I'm your host, Mike Gambardella, and the New England Patriots coming off a huge Week 1 preseason victory over the Washington Commanders and started even better seeing Tom Brady's statue outside of Gillette Stadium be unveiled and dedicated for the best player in NFL history, the GOAT himself, Tom Brady. And it seemed like the Patriots followed suit in a dominating performance over a Washington team that obviously did not play its starters, but again, some really great turnouts from your New England Patriots that we will dive into. But before we get started, make sure you go down and subscribe for the channel. Get in the comments. Let us know who stood out for you in preseason game number one. Is it surprising that Mike Vrabel already has this team at such a high level? And are the aspirations of making the playoffs in 2025 perhaps a little unfounded? Or is a win or two, or even perhaps challenging the Bills for the division within striking distance? Also, make sure you give us that like if you like what you hear, and make sure you check out all of our old episodes after this so you know exactly what's going on with your New England Patriots. We start out with the man of the hour outside of Tom Brady, obviously, Tayvon Henderson, who announced his presence with authority. The second rounder out of Ohio State, kicking off his NFL debut with a 100-yard kickoff return touchdown in which he was seemingly moving at 2 times speed. Just looked faster than everyone else out on the field. The shiftiness, the juke, everything was on display, and not just being involved on special teams. He also had 2 touches, one through the air and one as a rush as well, total 30 yards. Again, being able to show fluidity, being able to show shiftiness, moving from one way to the other, keeping defenses from being unable to key on him. And even when they did, suddenly he was in a different spot where they thought he would be. Um, the way that he adds to a different wrinkle on this team, and I think it's fair to surmise that the Patriots were smarter than everyone else when it came to this NFL draft. There was a lot of talk about how the Patriots potentially made a mistake by not selecting Missouri wideout Luther Burden, because you're saying the Patriots obviously need to help Drake May. They need a wide receiver. They need to do this. Instead, the Patriots see who's the best on our board. What do we need? The best player, best offensive. Put somebody back there, and that's Tayvon Henderson, and that's what they've done. And that also would have meant not getting Kyle Williams in the third round, because you would have had to take a running back at that point. And with Caleb Johnson, Cam Scatterbo, and others off the board at that point, the talent that you would add to your backfield suddenly takes a dip as well. So kudos to the Patriots for making that move. Kudos to Trey Henderson for a fantastic debut, and a heads up to Ramondre Stevenson, who looked strong in his debut as well. But again, there is a three-headed monster essentially in the Patriots backfield when throwing in Antonio Gibson. And with those three guys, I think the Patriots are well positioned to make sure that they can back up Drake May for a very long time. Additionally, on top of Tayvon Henderson, the rookie class was sensational. There obviously was some ups and downs. There was a miscommunication between the left side of the line with Will Campbell and Wilson getting their signals mixed, which led to Drake May trying to get one away, what ended up being called a strip sack and a fumble. But outside of that, we saw Will Campbell just throwing pancake blocks, putting people on their rear ends. It wasn't just Wilson and Campbell on the left side. Marcus Bryant got the start on the right side. So there were 3 rookie starters on the offensive line, which looked great to add in on there. So a very young offensive line up to the challenge and already better of what the Patriots were able to put forth last year. Tayvon Henderson, obviously. Kyle Williams, who we just mentioned, looked extremely explosive, getting past the Washington defenders consistently. Unfortunately, he could not connect with Josh Dobbs, who was in at quarterback at that point. Obviously was underthrown on one ball, which he had beaten the defender down the sideline, which could have gone for a long gain, and likely in for a touchdown as well, as he again separated on the in route and was just thrown behind him. Additionally, fourth round pick Craig Woodson, not Craig Ferguson. He'd be hysterical, but not probably as good as Craig Woodson was on the football field on Friday night for the New England Patriots. At halftime was leading the team with 4 tackles, had the special teams presence, and again, the speed looked to be up to par with what you want to see. Additionally, Lan Larison got into the mix with a touchdown. And we talked about that 3-headed monster in the running back room. Lan Larison is that fourth running back. And the question, I think, at the end of the day will be what this roster allows you to do with the flexibility. And can't you put a fourth running back on there? And can Larison get involved in special teams, whether returning, gunner, or otherwise, to make himself invaluable? And that's what the next 2 preseason games really will be all about. And what that does now is brings us to what we're going to call the Efton Chisholm problem, because I purposely didn't input him in this wow rookie class because he stood out on his own, and he again showcased the ability to have immediate separation in those intermediate routes. The foot speed out of the breaks was on full display. Getting into the end zone, scoring touchdowns. Efton Chisholm looks like he belongs on this team. The problem is that what you had last year with a bare cupboard at the wide receiver position, in the sense of guys not being put in the right position to succeed, nor having the talent behind them to back it up, nor having a line to allow your rookie quarterback to get them the ball. All of those things have now changed. So on Friday night, Stefon Diggs did not play by design. We also know that there are 4 wide receivers behind Stefon Diggs that are probably on this team, with Pop Douglas, Mac Hollins, Kayshon Boutte, and Kyle Williams locked in. So you have 5 wide receivers. That leaves you with usually only 6 wide receivers make a team. So looking at the guys ahead of him, it doesn't look good for Kendrick Bourne, who didn't play. Jalen Polk, unfortunately, got injured and again had a good couple weeks of practice on an end around, getting close to the end zone, came down hard on that arm shoulder, went to the blue medical tent, and did not return. That does not spell well for his chances to make the team. And Javon Baker was more known for being a gunner on special teams. He did have 2 tackles, than was, participating as a wide receiver. Efton Chisholm could really push those 2 top wide receivers in the top 2 and top 4 rounds, respectively, for Polk and Baker, to actually make this team. The problem is you're going to have to make some tough decisions and look at who can you sneak onto your practice squad. I think at this point it's tough to say Efton Chisholm can be snuck onto the Patriots practice squad, and you're going to have to figure out who you can move around to keep him on. If you think you're going to lose Javon Baker and he's important to your future plans, you might need to find somebody else to move on from. And if Jalen Polk doesn't start the year on the injured reserve, are you ready to move on from last year's second-round pick already? Hence, the Efton Chisholm problem. And finally, we look at not just, unfortunately, Polk or Baker or others. So there's more familiar names that could actually not make this 2025 team. And I think Friday night was more evident of that. On the offensive line, Layden Robinson, who had some big backers last year and had some groundswell to actually be in the mix for a potential starting role. He played late into the fourth quarter, so don't be surprised if he's a guy who's on the opposite end of that 53. Anthony Jennings, who has started for the Patriots at outside linebacker and edge, was playing into the second half. And again, his style of play unfortunately doesn't fit for what the Patriots are looking for. And don't be surprised to see him play a little bit more to potentially up his trade value. If you could get a 6th or 7th round pick for him, I'm sure the Patriots would acquiesce such a deal. Additionally, Kendrick Bourne, as we mentioned, did not play, and for me, he's been on the outside of that 53 looking in. Would be a hard conversation for the football decision makers to have with him, but unfortunately, that's kind of where we see it going. And another one, Cole Strange, who was starting for this team about a week and a half ago, was Wally pipped by Jared Wilson, who is now starting next to fellow rookie Will Campbell on the left side, drafted as a center, put in a left guard, and suddenly he's one of the best offensive linemen on this team. Cole Strange then has to settle for now not even being a backup at the position he got beat out at backup at right guard behind Michael Onwenu is where he actually played. So again, it's a fall from grace from a former first rounder, but with Mike Vrabel and a new coaching staff, new front office people as well. There's a lot of new, there's a lot of excitement, and that means a lot of the names that you've come to know could potentially not be on this 2025 roster. At the end of the day, if that means this is a better team, be okay with not seeing them and get to know the new players who are going to take their spots. And we'll have it all for you right here on Pat's Latest. Again, make sure you go down and subscribe for that channel. Get in the comments. Let us know what you saw from the preseason victory over the Commanders, what surprised you the most, and what you want to see more of. Make sure you give us that like if you like what you hear. Go back and check out all of our old episodes so you know what's going on with your New England Patriots, as we will have everything that's going on the field, off the field, press conferences, practices, and everything in between right here on Pat's Latest. Fight on, Foxborough.